We won the die roll for round 1. We have a rather slow hand, but on the play that shouldn't be a problem. And Bloodhunter Bat, Disentomb, Arms Dealer with another Goblin should really be able to get back any lost momentum. Of course, it's always possible that our opponent starts off really fast, but that doesn't look to be the case. He probably would have to have an Arbor Elf on turn 1 to even threaten a very dangerous curve. I'm going to run out a Rummaging Goblin because he's going to do quite a lot of work for us, and then probably still be used to deal some damage. Our opponent deciding not to play anything, which is kind of interesting. I think we can get rid of a land here. We're going to draw more lands naturally, and as much as I like to get Chronometon out there, I'm not going to expose the Arms Dealer to the Cower in Fear that was going around. And I also, well, I don't think that we are going to have the time to grow Chronometon against the green deck. It might become a flyer. I could even see discarding Chronometon at this stage of the game, because it takes so long to become active. However, with this draw, I think the best play might actually to just drop all of our cards now. That gives us enough another goblin. He has to discard a card, and we can try to develop from there. Alternatively, we don't drop the Arsonist, but with an Arms Dealer in hand, I think that would be kind of unnecessary. The question is, any card I play is also going to be another draw step I don't get. So it would mean to not use Rummaging Goblin for one turn. I think Chronometon will do a good job, so I think we can just drop him and the Arsonist because I want the Goblins in play anyway. But I'm going to hold back on the Ravenous Rats and probably going to discard it. It wouldn't have done a good job blocking. Whoa. So he gets a 5/5. Yeah, that's fine. Now we are going to hopefully draw into our 5th land and then Arms Dealer, Arsonist, the Primal Clay immediately. We could wait for him to untap because we can prevent the life gain, but that doesn't make a lot of sense because it only gives him the option to have a Titanic Growth or something similar. And that's also an interesting card. Giant Scorpion does almost the same as what we wanted to do, so kind of hurts us that we discarded the swamp there. I think we can drop the Scorpion and see what happens. And the question is if Rummaging Goblin is going to want to attack or not. Of course, now we are completely dead against Cower in Fear. Basically, we are going to lose very badly if he has it, but I don't think there's much we can do about that. Yeva's Force Mage is going to give him some more life, but that doesn't seem like okay. I'm fine with him pumping his primal clay. Oh, maybe he just doesn't attack. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So we get another shot at a land. And now we probably have to discard Sign in Blood to find one. Yeah, I don't think we want to use Sign in Blood at this point. Although the board is stabilized, so we could just Sign in Blood instead. But we do have the card draw in Rummaging Goblin, so I think it's fine to discard that. And I'm going to feel better if the Primal Clay is off the board. We have such a good position that I don't see a reason to risk anything to him having a large creature in play. And we could offer the trade with Chronometon here. And I think I'm just going to offer it. Both of our guys are going to grow, but I don't really have the mana and I don't want to keep any extra lands, so he didn't take the trade, so we got some damage through. We still have to decide how to work with our Giant Scorpion. Okay, he's playing the Mark of the Vampire deck just like we are. But we still have Giant Scorpion holding back. A Prey Pawn to fight with our Bloodhunter Bat, that's unfortunate, but I think this game isn't being decided on the life itself. So now he has a growing Force Mage that's also life linker. We might have to do something about that, but not too concerned. Now, one way to handle this would just be to get back the Arsonist, play it, and shoot the Force Mage for 5. That clears the board and forces him to have something else. Wow, he does have it. That's pretty cool. And sadly we don't have a mountain, so let's discard the Swamp to draw a mountain and kill it anyway, I guess. No, that didn't work. So I think we just pass here. I don't really know what his plan is now. He can't really attack with this, but it's his best creature. I think that we want to just get rid of it and then grow the Chronometon and start killing him. That means that we have to get rid of Rummaging Goblin, but I think he's done his job once we bin the next card. We could wait one more turn just to get one more discard. Yeah, I think I'll like that. Now, actually, it's kind of weird that we want the extra mana to pump Chronometon and drop Fire Elemental. So I think if we wait one more turn to discard, we still want to play the mountain. Yeah, it's kind of a waste, but that means we get a larger chronometon and a great attacker. We just have to hope that he doesn't top deck something this turn that allows him to deal with Arm Stealer, for example. Something like public execution is just not what we can afford to see here. And as sad as it is, I have to take the damage here. I'm not going to offer the trade with Giant Scorpion. Creature is far too important. Now that we have 6 mana, we can also shoot the Force Mage twice if we need to. And that worked out, so I'm just going to keep open 2 mana for Arm Stealer. If I hit him for 11, he goes down to 7, and he can't ever kill us, so I think that's a good plan. Now most of what we do is lethal, and we have Arm Stealer to shoot another 4 damage. I expect him to have a land in hand. Whoa. That's a bold move, and of course he could have something like Mutilate, but I'm not going to waste my Arm Stealer on it. Bloodhunter bad. Okay, so he just has a bat. I think we kill it. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I guess he could have, if we don't kill it, he chump blocks, tries to top deck something, I don't know. Maybe he was dead, maybe he wasn't. What do we have to work with? At least 2 Mark of the Vampires, that's important for us. Prey upon Titanic Growth. And the Ring, of course, but that seems beatable. Now, the Arm Stealer was insanely good. We used the Disentomb, although it wasn't a game winner. So I'm afraid we won't have much to deal with a creature after it has been marked by the vampire. So the alternative would be to just try to duress it out of his hand before he does it, or to rely on our regenerating and... Okay, that explains the early game. Yeah, that happens. He was doing quite well, considering that. That's actually kind of a nice chat. Usually people just start being offensive or something after you've beaten them. So back to the sideboarding. Chandra's Fury, we saw some targets, so I'm going to keep that in. Disentomb I like on all of our cards. I think that we just want a duress on turn 3 available, just to be safe that he isn't going to drop Mark of the Vampire, and it also gets the ring. So let's take a duress and probably cut a Disentomb or a Ravenous Rats. I think we can drop down to 1 Ravenous Rats while still keeping both Disentombs, because Death Touch is going to be so important. Actually, we are somewhat playing somewhat of a mirror here, so let's see how it works. Our opponent is keeping, and we have a turn 1 Chronometon hand with 3 lands. Perfect, basically. The question is, when are we going to play the duress, but probably... Oh, come on. He should have learned by now, so... I'm not going to believe him right now. Don't know if he's saying the truth, telling the truth. Now turn 2 would be a good time to duress. Given that we have Chronometon, it's going to take some time until we can do something else. And if we draw a 2-drop, I want to be able to play it on turn 3, so... Yeah. That didn't work out very well. But he has 3 Swarms, a Bloodhunter Bat, Recluse, Baloth, and Sentinel Spider. So... we can't take anything with duress, which is unfortunate, but he can't cast anything yet. However, his late game is going to be quite good. So, yeah. Didn't even get a Mark of the Vampire, so maybe I should have waited. Our draws aren't spectacular, but we can block Walking Corpse now. Sadly, we won't be able to block the Spiked Baloth immediately. Okay, he goes for Bloodhunter Bread instead. That's perfectly fine. He's probably not trying to race on the ground because we have Chronometon. I think he should have attacked with Deadly Recluse here for 1 damage. Trading these off is certainly in his interest. And now we have, interestingly, we won't be able to suit up Chronometon. If we drop Bloodhunter Bat and he goes for his 4/2 guy, it's not great for us, so we have to spend the whole turn pumping Chronometon and dropping Bloodhunter Bat next turn, which is fine. It's possible that I should have boarded out Chandra's Fury. I saw the 3/1 Exalted guy, but it's possible that he doesn't have much else, so... Chronometon doing a great job here as a way to keep basically all his ground offense at bay. As I said, he could have attacked with Deadly Recluse, but now that doesn't work anymore because I would always trade it. An Essence Drain, that's also unfortunate. We need to find a way to get rid of the Recluse while pumping our Chronometon each turn. Then we can put the mark on a very large Chronometon and probably win from there. But next, I think we first play a 6th land and get back Bloodhunter Bat. Next turn we can start to deploy the Goblin and maybe even trade in Chandra's Furies for something else, but certainly all the excess lands we draw I'm going to take the trade here. It's unlikely that I can put Mark of the Vampire on Bloodhunter bed because he has the Recluse still. And I have another Disentomb I can draw and so on. Goblin Arsonist is actually quite nice because we can shoot Recluse for 1 and then kill it with Chandra's Fury maybe. It's possible that he's going to start attacking, but I can't do anything about that, so I'm going to drop the Arsonist as it also trades with Spike Baloth and should mean that he can't attack. Now, Mark of the Vampire shouldn't change that because Chronometon is large enough. If he has a prey upon at any point before I have a removal spell for Deadly Recluse, then the Chronometon is in trouble. Vampire Nighthawk, I think that's a card we do want to see in play. He's the guy that picked the Spectre, okay. Good to know. Let's hope he doesn't have a way to get rid of the Nighthawk. Because then he starts taking our cards. But I don't think that we want to discard them. No, that doesn't make any sense. Well, of course, it would be nice to have something like a Searing Spear as backup, but I'm not planning to throw away perfectly reasonable cards just because I'm scared of Shimyan Spectre. Next, we have the decision if we want to drop Giant Scorpion or loot it away. And I think I don't really need the Scorpion here. I really want to draw Arm Stealer, Searing Spear, or one of my high impact cards, so even though that didn't work out, I think the decision is fine. Could have just suited up the Nighthawk, but he could, if he has something for the Nighthawk, it's a problem anyway, and it could just be Prey Upon or Murder, so yeah, things are looking fine so far. Although I'm a bit nervous, I have to say. I'm going to feel much better once we have gotten rid of the Spectre. That's for sure. And that gives us another Bloodhorn to bed, which is also great. We could attack with Nighthawk, but if he's at all reasonable, he's just going to take it. So let's just get back the bat as an insurance against Shimyan Spectre. Now if he has the ring, we can always Torch Fiend it. And hopefully we find a way to get rid of his Recluse. And we still have quite a lot of good cards to draw. Another Mark of the Vampire. Now that's of course interesting. If we suit up Vampire Nighthawk, he can only trade profitably with Deadly Recluse, which would make Chronometon better. But I don't think that's worth it. I'm also not really pleased with the Chandra's Fury. Doesn't really do much currently. Could put Mark of the Vampire on Bloodhunter bed, but then he just trades it with Sentinel Spiders, so that doesn't really accomplish much. So as much as I would like to attack with Vampire Nighthawk, I don't think I can afford to do it. So I'm just going to not attack, and I'm dropping Torch Fiend here. It's not as important to have Chandra's Fury up, and just in case he has something like a Chroma's Memorial, I really want to have the Torch Fiend in play. I wasn't going to discard it anyway because he has the green ring. I also have to be a little bit careful about not decking myself. This game is looking like it's going to take a while. Another Giant Scorpion is another card I can do without. Crimson Muck Raider is actually fine. He might be blocked by Sentinel Spider, but we have some tricks, and Mark of the Vampire and the Regenerator is quite a nice combo. Yeah, I guess we could have kept open Chandra's Fury as well, now that it kills the Servant. But I don't think we need it right now. This could be a problem at some point, but we are actually drawing more cards with Rummaging Goblin than he could probably with his pack leader. Okay, no spells forthcoming. Now, we could just equip the Muck Raider, enchant the Muck Raider, and attack. If he blocks, we regenerate. If he doesn't, we deal 5 lifelink. And we keep all of our defenses up. He doesn't have anything like a first strike creature, and Death Touch works differently now, so I think I'm happy with doing that. We need to do something proactive at some point, and that should either lead to 10-point life swings or lose him a creature each turn. In the best case, he doesn't even force us to regenerate. Okay, he didn't block, so that's nice. This board isn't stabilized by any means, but I think we are looking fine. So that's an artifact we can Torch Fiend. It's a 2/2 flyer. Not really something we have to worry about. I'm going to continue beating down with the Muck Raider and playing this patiently. He has to block at some point to protect his life total. And us getting creatures from him is certainly good. I would like to get both of his cards because we probably only get a land here, but don't think I can force this. It's really interesting that he made Primal Clay a 2/2 because he would have drawn a card with it being a 3/3. And the fact that it flies is actually quite irrelevant. It might be that he's planning to attack with it because he wants to get rid of our flyers, but I don't really have a reason to do anything with it. I can very easily just ignore it. So my options are to kill it with Torch Fiend and give him the green ring if he has it, or to just take the damage. And I think I prefer taking the damage. I can always kill it by trading it with Bloodhunter Bat, despite Exalted, because I have Chandra's Fury. Now, the question is if I attack with the Nighthawk, does he trade it with Sentinel Spider or not? And do I have to be afraid of Shimmy and Spectre? In a certain way, I certainly have, so I'm not getting through with anything else, and if he draws just one card to deal with one of my flyers, then he starts picking cards out of my deck, and I really don't want to have that to happen, so. Now the most pressing concern I have is that my deck is going down to 12, has gone down to 12 cards, and the fact that I only have 9 minutes left in game 2. So the other problem is that at some point he's going to draw a Prey Upon or something similar, and he might have some way to get through. Once we found our Arms Dealer, everything is going to be much easier. So that was of course a very good draw. I'm going to let him trade the Nighthawk with something of his choice. And now that we have a removal spell, everything is much better. We were in a good position anyway, just to be clear, but now we can actually go on the offensive without having to risk much at all. Okay, I made a mistake here. I thought I had the Chandra's Fury up to block the Spectre, but I haven't, so now I can chump block or murder or both. Well, chump block first and then murder. I think I'm going to murder because I want to keep Bloodhunter Bat around. That was kind of stupid. I should have just played the Swamp and then had Chandra's Fury after he attacks. I block, it looks like a chump block, and then I Chandra's Fury him down to 10, killing the Spectre and the Servant. But I was under the assumption that I had the land. Sign in Blood is probably best used as another burn spell. And now I want him to have less options of blocking, so I'm going to get rid of his Primal Clay offensively. We see a Deadly Recluse blocking, so... Okay, he isn't willing to lose his Deadly Recluse for a good reason. But we are still doing very fine here. We have 8 points of burn in hand, so we need to deal 6 to him. He hasn't drawn a single card from his pack leader. It's kind of funny. Taking 6, going down to 8, so we just Fury him and then drop these for the win. Or that works as well. So it looks like things did work out quite well. And yeah, I guess having an access to 3 additional cards, like, I don't know, 8 additional cards is just too much. Yeah, I mean, these are the lands that we just discarded, so we had a lot more to work with, answers to everything, and the better late game. So see you in round 2.